Hello, everybody. Welcome again to. I had to rush myself a little bit here because I looked at the clock and said, "Oh my God, I got 5 minutes before I go live." Oh boy. Anyway, my wife had to go and she has a medical appointment, so she's got to take care of something. But at least we got squared away with the exterminators. So in about 2 weeks from now, we'll probably have them come by and get a more competent person to try to spray around here and get rid of all this unnecessary bedbug problem that still is, you know, rearing its ugly heads. But anyway, let's get to the fun part here. Welcome again, everyone. This is our Tuesday TOS review. Today, of course, we're uh, still reviewing that wonderful original series called Star Trek. And today is season 1, episode 15, Shore Leave. And it's, when I first saw it as a kid, back when they went into syndication, did the reruns and all that stuff. First time I saw it, I saw the White Rabbit and I said, "Oh, Alice in Wonderland, pretty cool." And of course McCoy sees it and he's kind of freaking out, and I'm like, and I thought that's cool. He's late. He's late for a very important date because as a kid, I loved to read and I loved to look at books and things to read them. And of course, one of the first books I used to read as a kid was Alice in Wonderland as I was growing up. So I thought it was very cool. And I've seen the Alice in Wonderland movie, which they put out, the British did a while back. That's very cool too. And there's our kitty cat. Yay! Moon Pie Boo Baby, you lay down, honey. Behave. Okay. And you too, Deja Vu. Okay, you're laying there. You're good. Okay. Moon Pie, just lay down. Relax. Kids. Gotta keep track of them. Anyway, so you know, a bunch of misadventures on, doing shore leave because, the Enterprise has been through so much. And of course, they dealt with Balance of Terror last week, and so now they're just taking some R&R, right? But this is not what the planet seems. And of course, Shatner playing Kirk goes up against the guy Finnegan, his old buddy who used to be his prankster, his bully, that played pranks on him and did stuff at the academy. And so he's like, beating him up, doing all this sort of shit. Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, well, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. But then when you find out they're all mechanical and they're created in a big laboratory underground, and then they come out and they fulfill your every desire, right? Your every dream. So I thought that's kind of cool, and I think it's one of the first times we actually deal with robotic people or objects that are created on this planet. Because later on, there's iMud, which has the android planet and all that other stuff, and other machines that M5 and Landrew and all this other stuff that Kirk has dealt with. It's so weird. Um, that they had something like this in season 1, but I think it was a nice little escape. Yeah, I thought it was cool, and so not not one of the greater episodes because is my ultimate favorite. So when we get to that one, believe me, you're gonna have me really excited. To tell you about that one. With Roger C. Carmel playing Mud and all that, but that'll be later. So this one came out when it came out, and then of course, like I said, I saw it later, and yeah, I thought it was cool. I did. For the concept. Then, of course, when you find out like they're all manufactured, but that's all right. That's cool because somebody got hurt, yeah, accidentally, and with the pleasure and all that. But yeah, let's get into the episode, and we got one like already. Thank you so much, and one person watching. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, now, yeah, before I begin, one last thing I just remembered. Okay, so this week I have a special poll in place. All right, and in the poll, it's in the community section of our MikeySuzeFour channel from YouTube. Go there, please. They're in the poll. It's asking you after this week, because I'm not going to do any quotes, impressions of voices, things like that. Not this week. I'm just going to kind of keep to myself from that section of it. But I did ask you folks If you did like it or if you didn't like it, let me know in the community poll. Do you want me to continue quoting from the quotes section of the background information we get from IMDb, which is what I always use? Or do you just want me to skip it and I can just go on? I can still do the trivia, which I always do, but I make sure I don't do more than what it asks for. So let's say for this episode, there's probably like 50 different bits of information after the first five or so. No, I won't do that. So no, if it's what I do is I go if the amount of trivia listed is less than 10, like 9 or lower, I'll definitely give it a shot. But as far as and then of course like trivia, well, not just trivia, but Goofs has the same issue. But I do try to give you more information about Goofs because Goofs are kind of essential. If you rewatch the episode and you see where these problems are, you'll know why because I just mentioned it to you. So it gives you more of a perspective, and you can look at it and go, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's what happened." Yeah. So, but as far as the quotes, like I said, I won't do it just for this week because because tomorrow we start with Get Smart, and I really want to go through that, with trivia and things and let you guys know what's happening there, which was your request. So that starts tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. 1:00, of course, and then on Thursday again 1:00, and we have still working with season 3, and I believe it's episodes 15 and 16 of season 3 for A Team on Thursday. I can double check that, but you'll see it in the description when we get there. And then, of course, this week, by Thursday, I'll have a copy of our next Star Trek fan film that we get to review after we've watched it, and that is Star Trek Farragut. And this was recommended by Brother Jay Aldridge down there in Louisiana, and his wonderful sidekick Renee, and it's one of his favorites, he says, and he thought that um, it really does give you the inspiration of Star Trek, even though most people don't consider it canon because it is a fan film after all. But from what we've gone through so far, and I have to really say this is very cool. What we've gone through so far when we've examined Star Trek and Star Wars fan films, one after another, every other Saturday is how we do it at 1 p.m. Eastern, straight up. Um, this last one we did, Star Wars fan film, it was called Vader's Shards of the Past Part 1. And that came from a YouTube channel called Star Wars Theory. His name is Brett, I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, Brett put out like a really fantastic fan film. What, went all, did all the stops, went through all the stops. He found the right people to do it, to put it together. He was able to raise enough money through Patreon and through other things to make it. He was there to help, to find the right people to act in it and everything else. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. And I think we have close to 20 likes over from what we did this past Saturday. So, yeah. And I mean, every fan film that I've looked at so far, we're pretty close to either 10 or we're either right at 10 or we're more than 10 likes. So, yeah. Apparently, you folks really do enjoy it. And I got to say, I don't want to name their names because it might hurt some feelings. I don't want to do that. But the eclectic group, and that's what I call them. They're a very eclectic panel. I have mentioned them before. I mentioned just their first names, whatever. But they're very good people, and they are really knowledgeable about a how a film, which would apply to either Star Trek or Star Wars, should be made. And fan films have a lot of love, passion, understanding. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Anyway, thank you for the one like. Appreciate that so far. All right, so let's get to the episode. Shore Leave. All right. Now, according to background information from IMDb, this was watched by over 4,700 people, and they gave it a solid 7.3 out of 10, or that's the average. So I definitely have to agree. I think it deserves just a C though. I was thinking C plus, and then I'm like, no. Other than the Finnegan fights with Kirk, yeah, I mean it's kind of weird. Anyway, so yeah, so I just gave it a C grade. Yeah, which would be like a 3 out of 5. So yeah, considering that Balance of Terror was rated so high because it's really good, Shore Leave was kind of a letdown a little bit. Yeah, kind of after everything they've been through and everything, but now they go to this planet and desperate need of a break. It says so. Okay, and it premiered according to chronological time. It premiered on Thursday, December 29th, 1966. So just about to the end of the year, close to the new year by 2 days before, and we were going into 1967, where eventually my brother was born in September. And of course, I was just getting ready, or I had just turned 1 year old, and I was getting ready to, in a couple months, and I was just getting ready to try to experience life and putting my mother through the terrible twos. Yeah, bad me. And of course, my beautiful wife, Suzanne, had been born a few months before, back on June 16th of 66. So, yeah, she was still a few months old. So that's very cool. That just shows you how old we are. Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. Let's click on that. All right, so the basic plot is the past months have left the crew exhausted and in desperate need of a break. But does this explain McCoy's encounter with a human sized white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, or Kirk crossing paths with the prankster who plagued his days at Starfleet Academy, Finnegan? Yeah. All right, the director of this was a new guy, Robert Spar. Um, Gene Roddenberry wrote this script, screenplay with Theodore Sturgeon, and of course, it featured, Shatner, Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, Takei, Nichelle Nichols. There was no, as far as I can tell, there was no Scotty in this. James Doohan. I'm not sure what he was doing at the time. Okay, so let's take a look at two of the actors um, that appeared in this. Emily Banks, who played Tanya Barrows, she was one of the crewmen, one of the yeomen that came down with the landing party. And then Oliver McGowan, who was the actor who played the caretaker that created all the different fantasies on the planet, all these androids and stuff. It's very cool. All right, so we'll take a look at, first of all, the trivia. Okay. All right, let's see here. Go down to the bottom. Yeah, there's 46 more, so let me take a look at the spoilers. Well, there's only 2 spoilers. Very cool. Okay, so we got a couple and then the spoilers. All right, so the episode was being rewritten as it was being shot. Cast members recalled Gene Roddenberry sitting under a tree, frantically reworking the script to keep it both under budget and within the realms of believability. As a result, the filming went over schedule and took 7 days instead of the usual 6. William Blackburn, a professional ice skater in real life who played the White Rabbit, got the costume from Ice Capades for free. The claustrophobic Blackburn had a really painful time wearing it, especially as costume designer William Ware Theiss had originally sewn the rabbit head to the suit. After nearly suffocating, Blackburn tore off the head, for which Theiss became very mad at him. Finally, they negotiated, and Theiss put the head back with Velcro. Afterwards, Blackburn had no problem with the costume. He also commented that wearing the Gorn head in Arena 1967 was even worse. Oh, wow. A chained tiger was brought in to appear in the episode, but never directly interacts with any of the performers. Shatner had originally hoped to wrestle it, but was persuaded that it would not be a wise decision. Yeah, you don't do that. This is the only episode in which the USS Enterprise is seen orbiting a planet from right to left. The shot was deliberately reversed in post-production because the shape of the eastern United States and the Caribbean Sea could clearly be seen on the globe used as a model for the planet. And Kirk appears to address the Angela character as Teller early in the episode because the original script name for her character was Mary Teller. It was later changed to Angela Martine on the set when somebody noticed that the actress had already appeared as a named character earlier in the season. Barbara Baldwin played Angela Martine in the Balance of Terror episode we just did last week. In the closing credits, she is identified as Angela. Okay. All right, so now there are two quick spoilers. So here we go again. Let me ask you, if you have not seen the episode, just go ahead and put your hands over your ears for a couple seconds while I read them both. And then when I'm done, I'll just go choo, 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 and you can go ahead and, yeah. All right. But I'm assuming by now everybody's seen this episode, I'm guessing. Okay, so put your hands over your ears there. All right. So, as with the episodes Charlie X and Mud's Women, Spock appears to be not indifferent to the attraction of women as he clearly grins. As one of Dr. McCoy's fantasy fan dancers approaches him and takes his arm, and even makes a point of looking in her eyes and briefly smiles before stating that he has had enough of shore leave. It's possible that the influence of the amusement park planet had started to affect him, which may explain why he wanted to return to the Enterprise. This episode also featured another great cameo by Vasquez Rocks. The slanted rock where Kirk fights with Finnegan is also where Kirk has his famous battle with the Gorn in the upcoming Series 1, Episode 18, The Arena. Yeah, that'll be cool. All right. Now you can take away your hands from your ears, people. All right. Let's get to the goofs. And like I said, we'll skip the quotes for today. So, all right, let's take a look here. Let's see. And I'm just going down, 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 down. Looks like a lot of goofs in this episode. Wow. Cool. Well, it gives me a lot more to read, so very awesome. Oh, yeah. Errors geography. Okay. Oh, here we go. There we go. Plot holes. Wow. Wow. Look at all these plot holes. Amazing. Yeah. And more spoilers. And we got character errors. Oh, cool. So this will be fun. Great. And I don't have to read the quotes, and I can just go with these errors. Wow. Error. Error. Yeah. Okay. And like I said, I'll do this when we get to a spoiler. So, all right. So first of all is continuity. Okay. When Dr. McCoy sees the rabbit for the first time, the rabbit is clearly seen walking around like a human. However, when he's later examining the rabbit's footprints with Kirk, the footprints are seen side by side, as if the rabbit was hopping, not walking. As Kirk and Spock run back to the glade, they run by the same spot twice. After the aircraft attempts to strafe them, they get up and can be seen running by a crevice in the rock wall that ends with a fork at the bottom and a small boulder on the ground in front of the wall. They then run by the samurai, and the camera pan stops in the same crevice, even though they had run at least 30 to 40 yards from right to left. When Finnegan throws the captain over his shoulder, the captain is seen lying on the ground with his shirt intact, but in the very next scene, his shirt is somehow ripped with no explanation. After Captain Kirk's last fight with Finnegan, Kirk's shirt is torn and his right nipple is totally shown. In the next scene, when the caretaker appears, Kirk's shirt is somehow tied up to cover up the nipple, something that probably was done to avoid censorship concerns. Okay, here is a spoiler. When Yeoman Barrows changes into the medieval princess gown, why did I say ground? Yikes. She leaves her tights hanging on a tree. However, when she runs over to join Kirk and Spock after the knight has impaled McCoy, she's still wearing them. Okay, now you can take that away. All right, here's the incorrectly regarded as goofs. Now, after Kirk has beat the tar out of Finnegan, Spock, standing in the gully below, asks him if he enjoyed it. Spock's next 4 headshots are obviously in a studio with a painted background, evidenced as well by the lack of background noise. In the next shot, he's back in the gully with Kirk. Before Yeoman Barrows changes into the damsel in distress gown, her uniform is very torn on her right side from Don Juan. But when she changes out of the dress and back into her uniform is only slightly torn and on her left side. Still later, when she's standing at attention with Sulu and Rodriguez, sorry, that bug problem again. Damn it. Anyway, you better not be in my head. Okay, so still later, when she's standing at attention with Sulu and Rodriguez, and for the remainder of the show, her uniform is completely intact. Correction. The left side of her uniform is tucked into the collar, which is partially torn and hanging over her shoulder. Though, given the nature of the planet they are on, one can assume that, in reality, the staff of the planet should have repaired the uniform for her while she was wearing the other dress. Now, after Sulu fires the pistol, he rubs the barrel, clearly appreciating the object. After firing, after firing, the barrel would be extremely hot and impossible to touch barehanded without severe pain being caused. But the park they're in would very likely have safeguards to prevent this, unrestrained by the usual laws of physics. Throughout the episode, several plants and trees are spray painted red, or it could be alien plant coloration. Now, William Shatner is 3 years older than Shirley Boone. Her character, Ruth, allegedly exactly as she did 15 years earlier, meaning the 23-year-old Kirk had an affair with a 35-year-old woman. However, as Kirk has a reputation for chasing anything in a skirt, it would not be entirely out of character for him. Okay, here's a couple spoilers for this. All right, so when the climactic fight with Finnegan is over, Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock figure out that whatever one happens to be thinking about can be manifested almost instantly on this planet. Then they run back to the rendezvous point to inform the other Enterprise crew people who are gathered there. Along the way, they encounter the Tiger, the WW2 fighter, and the samurai that had been conjured up earlier by others. But there's nothing to indicate that either Kirk or Spock had given any of these things any thought at all. However, the things could well have simply been still roaming around after previously having been created. Now, police specials are known as six-shooters. When Sulu is indulging in target practice, he lets out 4 shots. Later, after the Knight runs his lance through McCoy and then charges down Kirk and Spock, Kirk shoots 3 times. However, these are not normal guns. Okay, so that's the end of the spoiler for that. All right, now we have a couple revealing mistakes. And before we look at that, let's see if anybody's entered the chat yet. Okay, so it looks like just the one person came by and left a like. Well, that's most appreciated. Thank you so much. All right, so let's continue. All right, when Spock beams down to the planet, his boots are already dusty, indicating that he'd been walking around before moving to his spot for filming. While on a planet thought to be absent of any fauna, that's at the 12-minute 20-second remastered version mark, a small building with a thatched roof and chimney can briefly be seen in the background while Kirk and McCoy converse as they follow the rabbit tracks. At the beginning of the story, while McCoy reports that there's no animal life on the planet, he and Sulu walk back and forth by a log that is obviously mechanically cut. When they first see the plane strafing on the one wing when it banks can be seen an American Air Force marking, yet when they get the close-up, there is a Japanese red sun visible on the same plane. When Sulu and Kirk walk around, they have multiple shadows, revealing that the scenes were shot using artificial light. Okay, here's a couple spoilers for that, so just 2 real quick ones. When the Black Knight is killed, you can see the dummy in the armor take a breath of air when you look at him a second time. When Kirk and Spock are examining the Knight dummy, its eyes are open and then closed with no one touching them. Not that there's any logical reason for the dummy to have functional eyelids. Alrighty. Here's a couple of miscellaneous. When Spock is being beamed down, dust spots on the overlay film can be seen as he materializes. In several scenes, a highway barrier fence is visible in the background. Wow. And then there's one anachronism. Tire tracks are clearly visible when Kirk is running after Finnegan. Wow. Then there's an audiovisual unsynchronized. When Finnegan is yelling at Kirk from the rocks, you can tell it was recorded inside some hollow area because of the echo his yells created. Okay. Now, there's a couple of instances here where you see the crew or the equipment being visible. Now, on the first one, after Finnegan flips and knocks Kirk out, Kirk awakens, rolls over, and the next shot on Finnegan reveals the shadow of a crew member moving and then disappearing from the left side of the screen. And then after Mr. Spock beams down and speaks to Kirk and Sulu, the three of them walk away from the camera in a medium to long shot. Just before the scene cuts away from them, bluish puffs of smoke, probably from a crew member smoking, can be seen issuing from the lower left side of the screen. Toward the end of the episode, as Kirk is chasing Finnegan, a shadow from the camera crane can be seen in the lower right of the frame, tracking along with Finnegan as he runs to the left and then stays in position. When Captain Kirk is telling the crew to stand at attention, then the caretaker appears and the captain moves to the left towards him. As he passes the large tree, the boom microphone throws a shadow on it. The tiger wears a chain around its neck, which does not fit the story context. When Kirk and Finnegan are fighting and wrestling around, there are multiple instances where you can see the artificial light being directed by either a light or a sunscreen. In the beginning of this fight, Finnegan has multiple shadows. Okay. Then there's a couple of errors in geography, and then we do have a spoiler, I think, or two. Let me see here. Yeah, we just have one. Okay. So, in the errors in geography, the planet was supposed to be devoid of animal life. Yet, during the captain's communication with Spock, Kirk is buzzed by a fly. The planet is reported to be devoid of insects. However, when Tanya Barrows discovers the princess gown at the 21 minute 36-second mark, a white butterfly is showing. Although the planet is said to be devoid of insects, during Kirk's first encounter with Ruth, a small fly can be seen flitting around her face during one of her close-ups. Okay, here's the spoiler. So after Spock beams down, Kirk, Spock, and Sulu hear the tiger and spread out to find it. Suddenly, they are in the glade where McCoy is when he gets stabbed by the knight. Okay. All right, then there are a few quick plot holes. Okay, so despite the fact that the planet is supposed to be uninhabited, no one seems surprised that there are roads running all through the area. When Kirk and the yeoman beam to the planet, Kirk goes looking for McCoy. He could have been beamed directly to McCoy's location. Kirk races through the wilderness, desperately looking and calling for Sulu when he could simply call Sulu on his communicator. When Kirk and the yeoman beam to the planet, they are beamed in between two trees that are close together instead of to a more open area. The crew is not able to use their communication devices or their phasers, but yet somehow Spock's tricorder works. And a planet teeming with plant life, but no birds or insects, would need pollinators of some kind to keep the plants reproducing. Okay, and here are a few spoilers. Okay, so hands over ears if you want. All right, unanswered questions as to what happened to Angela. She appears to have been gunned down by the strafing plane. When the crew rendezvous in the glade, she's not with Rodriguez, leading one to assume that she's gone. He would not have left her had she been only injured. However, when Kirk talks to the caretaker, he only mentions McCoy's death, not Angela's. And after McCoy reappears, one would think Rodriguez would ask, what about Angela? Angela is seen shortly thereafter in the background, standing with Rodriguez. Dr. McCoy sees the tracks left by the White Rabbit and Alice, hears Sulu firing the police special revolver, and listens to Tanya Barrows' account of her assault by Don Juan, supported by her torn uniform. By the time the Black Knight attacks, McCoy has had ample proof that the events on this planet, however bizarre, have a physical basis, and yet When the mounted Black Knight charges him with a lance at the ready, McCoy decides it must be an illusion and is struck down. Given all that had gone before, he should have realized the danger and made an effort to avoid it. After McCoy is killed, Yeoman Barrows is seen changing out of her princess outfit back into her uniform. She is smiling and happy as she hangs the last of her clothes on tree branches. Not the look you would expect for someone who just witnessed McCoy's death, especially since she has feelings for him. Near the end, Kirk tells Uhura to begin beaming crew members down to the planet to commence shortly, but doesn't explain the ground rules that the crew must follow. Kirk smiles as he begins his fight with Finnegan and admits to Spock that he enjoyed it afterwards. Yet his good friend McCoy has just died minutes earlier, and he shows no emotional effects of the shocking loss. Wow, interesting. So that was all the spoilers. Hopefully you all, if you hadn't seen it, okay. All right, here's some regular character errors. All right. When Sulu sees someone being transported from the Enterprise, he says someone's beaming down from the bridge. In this series, all transports originated from the transporter room. Also, he wouldn't know from what duty station someone was assigned. Kirk tells McCoy, "You follow the rabbit, I'll backtrack the girl, we'll meet up beyond those rocks." Doesn't make sense at all. The rabbit and Alice are on the same path, so following that trail in opposite directions wouldn't lead to an intersection. When Kirk first beams down, he addresses Angela Martin as Teller. This scene, however, is not included in all syndicated versions. Since the Enterprise is a research vessel and has explored space and experienced unusual phenomena on many planets, it sure takes the landing party crew a long time to figure out that the things happening might be created by aliens. And when Kirk notices Ruth, the tiger can be heard growling in the background, even though it shouldn't be in this scene at all. Wow, cool. Okay, so we'll go to the soundtrack. And there was there's the one thing where they say that the theme from Star Trek was fully written, and the soundtrack for this episode was fully written by Alexander Courage. So he's got the Star Trek theme being the same both beginning and ending, but he did write the entire music for this particular episode. And I know it was kind of weird, so alrighty. Okay, so other than Desilu Studios, where they filmed most of the interior things, Ralph Hilfer's Ranch is located in Acton, Acton, California, which is known as Africa, USA. I've been by there, I just never have seen it. I went to the San Diego Wildlife Animal Park. That was the place I'd been to. But this place is located at 8237 Soledad Canyon Road in Acton, California. And then, of course, the famous Vasquez Rocks Natural Area Park at 10,700 West Escondido Canyon Road in Agua Dulce, California, USA. And like they said, they went over budget, so they filmed this for 8 days from October 19th, 1966 to October 27th, 1966. So very cool. Okay, now we'll take a look at the cast and crew. And we'll take a look at Tonya Barrows, who's played by Emily Banks, and the caretaker, played by Oliver McGowan. So we'll take a look at Emily first. Okay. Aw, that's sad. All right, well, as an actress, she was born in January 23rd, 1933. She did pass away 2 years ago, on September 17th, 2023, at the age of 90. So she lived a long life. 90 is pretty good. She was born in Norfolk, Virginia, but spent much of her childhood in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where her father served in the military. He later found work as a graphic artist. After high school, Emily graduated from Simmons University in Boston and then embarked on a brief career as a model. And this culminated in her election as Miss Rheingold in 1960. Well, very cool. Alrighty. So besides the Star Trek episode as Tanya Barrows Yeoman, in 1968 she did a movie called Live a Little, Love a Little, where she was the RKC&P receptionist. All right, and then she was in the two. She was in two other different TV series she's known for. She was in Knight Rider with Hasselhoff. She played the role of Priscilla Ragsdale, and that was in 1984. And then the following year, in '85, she was on the Michael Landon series Highway to Heaven, where she played the role of Betty, and she did that for 2 episodes. So very cool. And the last thing she worked on was back in 1986. It was a small movie called The Check is in the Mail, and she played a travel agent role in that. So, very cool. But unfortunately, we lost her. But, as we say, 90 years and above usually is a good life led. So, yeah, rest in peace, Emily Banks. Okay. And finally, let's take a look at Oliver McGowan for this episode. Okay. All right. Oliver McGowan, yes, he did pass away at a very early age of 64. So he died in 1971. He was born August 22nd, 1907 in Kipling, Kipling, Alabama. He was an actor known for not only Star Trek, but Mannix and One Step Beyond. He died in Hollywood one day after his birthday, like I said, on August 23rd, 1971, after celebrating his 64th birthday. So, Oliver McGowan. Okay. Now, let's see. Before he reached Star Trek, he was Mr. Stevens in one episode of One Step Beyond. He was in the famous movie Stagecoach in 1966. He played Mr. Haynes. Then, after he did the Star Trek Caretaker episode here, he did Mannix, and he did one episode. His character was Carl Dorso, Dorso. Cool, in 1970. And the last the last thing that he worked on was the My Three Sons TV series from 1962 to finally 1971 when it ended. He played different roles such as Dave Avery, Dr. Ellison, Dr. Thornton. He was in a total of 5 episodes of that series. So, yeah. Just a shame he passed away at 64. Yeah. He wasn't around for too long. Alrighty. Okay, well, that takes care of our one episode for today of Star Trek. Like I said, I could have read the quotes, but if you do want me to read them in the future, let me know, of course, in the community poll towards the end of this week. Actually, before we start the 18 reviews on this Thursday, we actually are going to start early. We'll start right around just after 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And what I'll do is when I start that around that time, I'll give you all the final results. And then from then on, it's either you want me to go ahead and read the quotes from now on or no. And if you say no, I'm totally fine with that. I have no problem with that at all. Actually, it'll give me a little more time to relax and handle the episode the way I can. So, all right. So next week we do have the episode 16, the Galileo 7. Of course, that's where the Galileo shuttlecraft under Spock's command crash landed on a hostile planet. And as the Enterprise races against time to find the shuttlecraft, Spock's strictly logical leadership clashes with the fear and resentment of his crew. And that was directed by Robert Gist, Gist. Yeah, and it got a pretty decent rating. So that is for next Tuesday afternoon, right around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, now let's go to tomorrow, where we're going to start with Get Smart. As per your request, everybody asked for that series. So we will be going with the very first 2 episodes from season 1. So let me pull that up here real quick. And we'll just read you what the what the episodes are called. All right. Yeah. So this lasted 5 seasons over 6 years. All right. And the first year was in black and white. And then after that, it went to color. So, okay. Actually, it probably looks like it went to color after the pilot episode. So maybe we're kind of skipping the gun here. Okay. All right. So the first episode is Mr. Big. And of course, that features the great Michael Dunn, who was, known really well for the role he played in Wild Wild West with Dr. Miggy Lethal Lovelace. And of course, the episode in TOS with the Romans, that they want to keep Dr. McCoy, and he plays Alexander in that episode. So, yeah. So he is in that one. All right. And then the second episode will be called Diplomat's Daughter. And while protecting a diplomat's daughter, Smart tangles with the Chaos Agent known as the Claw. The Claw? No, the Claw. The Claw? No, Mr. Smart, the Claw. I'm sorry, I had to say that. But anyway, it's so much fun. And hello, Connie Cleary. Welcome, welcome. She is one of our managing moderators here on MikeySuzeFour channel. Hi, Mikey. Sorry I'm late. Didn't notice the time. Oh, honey, don't worry about it. I was running late a little bit myself. I looked up at the clock and I said, "Oh my God, I started 5 minutes." I had to give appropriate, apropos love to my wife because she has to go to an important appointment today, an MRI on her shoulder, which she injured when she was with one of the TTC buses here in Toronto. So, yeah. And if it's pretty severe, I told her to go after the bus company. Yeah. But she has to get an examination done first. So she's doing that today. So, yeah. So say some prayers for her. Hopefully everything turns out all right. Yeah. And maybe it's just a bruise and not a big problem. It's not broken. I won't say that because that's not true. But it is very, very severely bruised. So I've tried to help her out. So, so I stayed with the cats. I said, I'll stay with the cats and go take care of it. She knows what to do. So just, hopefully everything's going okay. But you're all right, Connie. You're totally fine. I just wanted to go through this episode pretty quickly, and then I'm just going to relax, just kind of listen to some music and stuff. Oh, and hello, Brother Curtis Selby. Welcome, welcome. The tired midnight blogger for us. Good afternoon, working and lurking. Well, there you go. You work and you lurk. Yeah, that works. And you lurk. Yeah, there you go. Hey, we could get into that all day. Wow. Well, fantastic. Thank you, Curtis, for coming by and being here today. We're almost done. We just went through the episode pretty quickly. I wanted to make sure you watch the rewatch so I can explain to you some things going on here around here. Also, like I said, I was going to say, actually, not what I said. What I was going to say, I believe that Gorilla Censored Thoughts might be having a cigar lounge or I should say, a watch party. And yesterday, thank you, Curtis, and everybody, and Connie yourself as well, for attending my brother Larry's Be Yourself Adventures 60th birthday. He was really, really happy. We had a simulcast. We had Raquel, SSG 2211, was the headmistress of the chat and the panel. Larry, of course, was simulcasting it from his channel, and I was doing an additional simulcast from our channel at MikeySuzeFour. And then afterwards, I did a small after party with a second live stream where we had a few of the panels crossover, and then we were talking and everything. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, Curtis Selby says Larry is the bomb. Amen, brother. He is. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so as you all know, just a brief recap. Of course, tomorrow we're starting with Get Smart first two episodes from season 1. Then we're doing from the A-Team season 3, which I believe are going to be episodes 15 and 16. That'll be fun. Uh, we'll also, like I said, Thursday afternoon, just before we begin the stream, we'll come on early about 12:45 p.m. and I will give you the final results of the poll. I asked whether or not you would like me to read those quotes from future episodes that I discuss, other than which I don't do for the fan films, but for these 4 episode or 4 different shows I cover. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun because I just kind of like try my best impression, especially with Red Dwarf, which is really hard. Yeah, I was like, yeah, try to speak in British accent. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, and then of course, don't forget Saturday we are covering Star Trek Farragut, and that is going to be the next fan film we do a review of. Everybody will be able to watch it before then. And let's see. Oh yeah, and don't forget Friday night. We always have our show that we do that Gorilla runs called the Waltons Stream, and it's myself, um, Gorilla's Censored Thoughts, PvP, and our friend Resolute Germ. And sometimes we'll have Larry on there from Years of Adventures, or we'll have Jim come up from Commodore Productions. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. We act like kids. We go back to high school. We act like kids. We do the MST3K bit, for the whole Walton stream. You should have heard what happened to us. I'll tell this story real quick. So what happened was when we did the episode last week, which I believe was either the nurse, which was called the nurse. So we got banned. We got copyright claimed from Warner Brothers for comments that myself, BVP, Resolute Germ, and even Gorilla, the 4 of us, all talked on it, and they had copyright claimed 90% of the dialogue that we had said on the episode about the episode. That's not good. I think in that case the censorship went way too far, and that was just too bizarre. I've never heard of my speech being censored before by a major company like Warner Brothers. I'm like, really? Oh man. Well, we just thought it was probably a bot, some computer injected bot who is always maintaining when people go to watch the episode, but is there to maintain decorum. And if they think that there's anything offensive, really offensive, the bot takes action, and then it, hits a copyright claim strike against Gorilla. And he's had that before, but this was just, like I said, Gorilla let us know that it was just about on everything we said on our overall dialogue, and that's just kind of weird. Yeah, yeah. And Connie says, "Hello, Curtis," and yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Curtis, if you come tonight with and/or watch party with Cigar Lounge, ask Gorilla about it, because Gorilla was just like, "Wow, what? You guys were struck? Everything? Yeah, it was. Yeah, crazy doesn't even begin to describe it. It's just bizarre." And oh, hey, hello, Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, hi, hi to you too, sweetie. Awoo. Hey, great to see you. Awoo. And have a great day, you all. You too, Charlotte. Hell, oh, Charlotte, don't leave yet. If you can hold for just a sec. Are you doing anything this weekend? Please let me know, or send me a message in my Facebook Messenger, okay? If you got a podcast running, if you got a watch party running, like I said, I've only got my one thing, the fan film Star Trek I'm doing this coming Saturday, which I believe is the 22nd. Yes, at 1 p.m. It's only going to last maybe less than an hour at most. But if you got anything going on, let me know. Okay. Okay, great. Okay. So Connie says hello to Charlotte. Charlotte says, yes, I am. And Curtis goes, ah, woo. Daredevil watch along and an interview. Awesome. Okay. So will that be the same time, correct? 4:05 p.m. Eastern time for both Saturday and Sunday? Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So, folks out there, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to our channel, hey, we're only 4 or 5 people away from that. We really do need to have you subscribe so we can reach 250 and do a surprise live stream for all of our members that have subscribed to our channel. Because remember, there are community family members, not just subscribers. And yep, all correct, love. And love you all. Bye. Big hugs. Love you too, Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. We have 3 likes and we got 5 people still watching. That is totally cool. All right. So, and oh, there's her channel. Thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. So, if anybody there in the chat has a chance, make sure you go click on that so that you can find out what's happening this coming weekend and to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And Charlotte says, like and sub to Mikey. Mickey, it's okay. Yeah, unless you start singing to me and go, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blew my mind. Hey, Mickey, Tony Basil. Oh, my God. Oh, man. I told you, this is Warehouse 13 material in here. It's all locked away. Everything. Doop, 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 right in there. Mikey, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. Okay, so now you folks have something to look forward to. You got my review of a Star Trek fan film on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you have Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolves Daredevil watch party as well on Saturday, as well as an interview on Sunday at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. So, and I'm a along with Curtis, we do sub hosting for our silent hostess with the mostest, which is Miss Charlotte. It's a lot of fun. We also have Ezra. We've got Kimmy Kibb. Sometimes her daughter Scarlett helps us out. It's so much fun. And then we got our big guy, Accounting Sheep, who heads off the chat and is able to keep us going and keep us laughing. And so I appreciate you, Accounting Sheep, for doing that for us through all these other watch parties and things we've done. And don't forget, there was a very cool podcast we did some time ago with Bob and Laura Antone, and it is on Charlotte's channel. So if you get a chance, go there, look for Bob Antone's interview. It was so enlightening and so informative. And we talked about paranormal stuff. We talked about Twin Peaks, because, of course, David Lynch, rest in peace, had passed away at the age of 76. And we talked about a lot of stuff, and it was just so much fun. I had the best time. It was one of my most favorite panels I had ever served on. So believe me, it was great. It was fantastic. Live, everything, being there, Washington State, and everything. Yeah. And my brother lives there with his wife, and I have another brother named Patrick Wise. He lives there with his wife, Amber. It's really cool. Yeah, they all live there in that area. So, yeah. So much fun. Yeah. Alrighty. So, that pretty much covers everything for today. I'm sorry I had to take a drink because I talk so much and I'm like, that I can't talk again anymore. Oh my God. Okay, so I want to thank Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf. As I said, make sure you go to her website. She's got it there in the chat, the link. She has so much great content. I mean, she does watch parties, she does podcast interviews, she does music that she posts, like Gorilla Sense of Thoughts. He does these AI type, generated uh, musical videos, we call them, very good musical shorts. And Miss Charlotte is a very adept at that. So make sure you check those out. Those are great songs. And also want to thank Curtis Selby, our wonderful tired midnight blogger, we call him. Now, this gentleman has the most polite channel of all when it comes to politics, when it comes to other issues involving the governments of the United States, Canada, and around the world. He's the most polite person ever, and believe me, he responds to every single question, talks to every single person, and that's either in the chat. And every once in a while, he does have a live panel. He gets together a couple people. They go up there. We talk about stuff. He's had me up there a few times. I really enjoy being with Curtis when he talks about stuff. And of course, like I said, I get the most fun when he's there with me and we co-host with Charlotte, being the hostess, for when she does her watch parties and of course interviews. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. And of course, we don't want to forget Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, who right now, as we speak, is trying to find for me a video containing two red cardinals. And it's very difficult to find a red cardinal, especially this far north. Yeah. But every once in a great while, my mom sends one all the way from Arizona, which is like almost over 3,000 miles. And once in a great while, there's this park that's right across the street from us, which is called McLean Gardens. And we go over there, and every once in a great while, I see a red cardinal. And both Suzanne and I know that is a messenger of God that comes from my mom and dad, and they're just checking up on us, just to make sure we're okay. It's really cool. I mean, it's a great story, but it does have some truth to the fact to it because it's really hard to describe why cardinals like that can fly that far and then end up being in this, where you are, and yeah. So please go to Connie Cleary's channel. She has two channels actually. The birds that she has videos of are on her Fluff Chick Productions channel. So make sure you check that out. And then Connie Cleary's regular channel as well. So thank you. We also have Anchorman. Hi, hey, welcome, Scott. His first name is just Scott. But hello, Scott. Welcome. And we have the other big hairy ape brother that's lurking around here. Gorillas Censored Thoughts, kapla to you, brother. And Connie says, hi, Anchorman. And Scott says, could be better, though. Well, I know what you're going through, Scott. And thank you. Thank you so much for expressing what's happening in your life to all of us, because we're all a part of this family, brother. We're all going to look after you. We'll say prayers for you. We'll do all we can. Offer you the best possible advice we can give. And that's what we can do for you. That's all we can do. I mean, you got to do a lot of the other stuff yourself. But what I would do is definitely report what's been going on to higher authority and get the heck out of Dodge and go find a better job. But work. But continue, do the best you can to stay where you are. Until you can find this better one, and then go to that after. Give you 2 weeks and then say I'm gone. And it'll be their loss, not yours. So yeah, make sure you do that. Okay. Anguilla says, you calling me fat? No. No, Gorilla, you're misinterpreting again, yeah, big brother. No, you're a silverback. They're big. Come on, they're not fat. They're just big gorillas, right? Come on. I'm not calling you fat, Gorilla. Stop pulling that crap on me. Make me feel guilty. I'll get Suzanne after your butt. I'll have her cross the border and come down and kick your butt. Oh, wait, there's already a foot placed in there by LDG. We'll have to joke later tonight. Yeah, that's so much fun. Connie says, hey, gorillas. Scott says, it's hard to find another job because of my parents. Well, talk to your parents, Scott. Okay? Ask them, tell them point blank what's going on. And if they don't give really good advice, then get a second opinion from somebody, anybody that that you don't really talk to a lot. Not just me. I'm saying I'm willing to listen. I'm a good listener, but I'm saying that there's other people that have really not quite the grasp of your situation. But if you give them what you know and what you've seen, what has happened with you, they might offer you a really good piece of advice from their life experience. I know I could, but it's not just about me; it's about you, sir. You got to take the first step and report everything. Okay? Tell your parents. Tell the people, like I said, go higher up. Go over people and talk to them. But do something because you do not want to continue to live in misery like this. That's not something you want to do, my friend. So, yeah, make sure you get the ball rolling, and as so to speak. And hey, Connie from Gorilla. Yeah, it's good to see you, Gorilla. So let's see. All right. So again, we thank Connie Cleary, Curtis Selby, Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf, Anchorman, and of course our other. Here we go. Yeah, and of course Gorilla's censored thoughts. So we want to thank all of you guys and gals gals, guys and gals, whatever, for being here today. Um, and let's see, I did tell another manager, but she said report it again if it happens again. Then there you go. Then there you go, sir. You just answered your own question. So if it does happen again, report it again. Continue to pester them. That's the best piece of advice I can give. Continue to pester them if things get worse. If things start to escalate and it gets worse, continue to pester, continue to report it. Keep doing that until you can get a solution, okay? Until you figure it out. Anchorman, unless it's a really high paying job, there are tons out there, especially with manufacturing coming back. Absolutely. Gorilla's got a good piece of advice there. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh yeah, Ohio, tough to find jobs. Yeah, it is definitely tough. Yeah, I definitely keep on doing it, reporting it. Awesome. Best piece I can offer you there, uh, Mr. Scott. And I'm really proud that you came to let us know last night about the initial details, and I'm glad you didn't have to reveal a lot. But I understand what you're going through right now. I've gone through some similar situations in my lifetime experience regarding like grocery, retail and so forth. And it's all about customer service. But if you have workers that are supposed to work together as a team, and some of them are not pleasant with you, and they start to uh, demean you and interfere with the course of progress that you make with the company, you need to report that right away. It's just, you don't want to hold that in. Well, actually, my story was I was working for a retail outlet. Um, I don't want to say the name because it's kind of personal, but I was working for a retail outlet back in Arizona, and uh, not one, not two, but three people in different departments were upset when I went to go work in their departments because there was nobody available. And the manager of the store, the head manager of the store, knew that I was comfortable working in any. I mean, I even worked in the ladies' department selling perfumes and shit for like couple like an hour or so, and I was just you know I was the jack of all trades. I came in, I helped out people, I showed them things, and my experience, and three other people that worked in these departments that weren't there were upset when they realized I was taking their job and I was working their department, and they had to be moved somewhere else, which they were uncomfortable with. I was fine with it though. It's a job. A job's a job. And I got berated. I got yelled at. And I just told my managers, I said, hey, look, I don't want to put anybody else out of a position. If they want to work their position in the department, go ahead and do it. Okay. But I don't need them to yell at me because you asked me specifically to take over for them and substitute for them while they're off doing their own thing. And and my manager was very nice about it. She said, "Don't worry, I'll talk to them. We'll straighten things out." And luckily, back then, it got straightened out. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoy liking. I love doing different. I love doing different jobs like that. Yeah, and Anchorman says they do it to rile me up. Well, then you ignore them. You just walk away. That's one way to do it. But like I said, continue to report if the harassment does go beyond, you know, I mean, actually, I would have said something as soon as they invaded your personal space. I would have done it right away as soon as it happened because nobody is allowed to invade your personal space. No one. And I don't care what job it is. I don't give a shit what it is. You don't have anybody invade that personal space. You didn't give permission. So make sure you continue to report. Yeah. But keep your job, right? Until you can find a better one. And then, yeah, you know what to do, buddy. Yeah. There's too many lazy coworkers. Well, yeah. So tell the manager, it's not like you're really just telling on them. You're trying to have your place of business that you work for to be successful, right? So if there's people that aren't doing the job, then you need to report them, and I do. I would do that in a heartbeat. When I was working in a grocery store, and there were people that were just sitting there lazy and shit, I went right to my superior. I went to my boss, and I told my boss to tell your boss that these people are not doing their job. And I did get some people fired. I won't lie. And I just, it happens, buddy. It does. When I call out behavior, they always pull, I'm just joking as an excuse. Bullshit. Tell them that they're just being bullshitters. You can say the word. Go ahead. Just tell them, he's bullshitting. He's lying to you. It's not an excuse. He's not just playing with me. He's really wanting to rile me up, get me pissed off so I could lose my job. That's what they're doing to me. You got to let them know that, buddy. I can't tell you much more than that. I really can't, because you really have to put that first foot forward yourself, and report everything and get it done. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're just informing your superiors that you want to stay with this job. You love this job. It's important to you. But if you have other people that are trying to disrupt that and mess with you, you've got to report them. There's no other recourse. They've interfered with your uh, contentment, and it has to be issued. It has to be taught. It has to be drawn out. Yeah. So sorry if I annoy you. No, 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 Scott. There's no annoyment here. There's no annoyance. No, 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 no. Please, please don't think of that at all. No. All I'm doing is it bothers me because it's something that happened to me as well. And so I'm trying to draw from my life experience, my work experience when I was working in a similar job that you were. And I did what I had to do to answer the problem. Yeah, I will definitely report it. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. I hope things go better for you. You know you got prayers out there for you. You know you got friends. You know you got family here online as well. And I know your parents still love you. They still care for you, buddy. So I hope everything goes well for you. I do pray for that. Okay? Definitely. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and close everything down. Again, thank you everybody in the chat for being here. God bless all of you. If I missed anybody, please forgive me. I want to make sure I covered everybody. By the way, Anchorman, and Gorilla all have great content. So make sure, as well as I told you to go to the other friends we have here today, make sure you go to their websites on YouTube, check them out, and subscribe to them. Remember, if you hit the like today, subscribe, share it with your friends and family and acquaintances. And if you hit the notification bell, that little ding, ding, ding bell, takes less than a second to click on it. When you see it says notify me, click it once and it says notification on, lets people know when the next event, whether on this little webcam or on a big live stream or whatever, a podcast, anything that happens, you'll be notified in advance and knowing when that's going to happen. So, yes. And all right, so let's see. Sorry, my throat's not working very well today. Okay, so in the immortal words of the wonderful Gene Siskel, rest in peace, who worked for the Chicago Tribune, and of course Roger Ebert, the Chicago Sun-Times, the big boy. But I believed in Gene Siskel more than the fat man, but rest in peace, both of them. The aisle is now closed, is what Gene always said. It was on one of my favorite lines when I watched Siskel and Ebert at the movies. So, yeah, I always try to use it. And of course, I like to quote 3 different quotes every time. First of all, Larry, my beloved brother who's going through really rough times right now, please make sure you're praying for him and his family. He always says, always be yourself. My wife always says, I leave everything in God's hands. And of course, I always say, always expect the unexpected, everybody or everyone, whichever comes first here at MikeySuzeFour. Oh, Connie, absolutely. Thank you, Mikey. Oh, Connie, you're welcome. Absolutely. I do what I can. I try the best I can. Let's say a prayer here then. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, dear Lord, thank you for everything that you do for us in this world. We rely on your blessed Son, our Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, to guide us in from the evil one and try to get us through life as we can without any problems, no tragedies, no disasters, anything that goes on. Pray for my wife who's going through her MRI examination today on her shoulder. Hopefully, it's not too badly damaged or hurt or bruised, just a bruise. That's all I'm asking for, Lord. I hope that she'll be all right. Um, Please pray for Larry and for his wife Diane and everybody in the family and Tyler, their son. Um, he's planning on having a major surgery next week on the 27th, I believe. Yeah, he said on Thursday, the 27th. And it's going to incapacitate him for a while because he'll be down to basically one arm and one hand to use. And I'm not really comfortable with that. And I hope I pray that and hope and pray that he gets through it okay. Both Suzanne and I do, and yeah, I hope he does all right. And for everybody else in our families, spread out everywhere, we pray for every one of them that they're doing okay. We pray for Brother Jay and Renee. Hope that their lives are together will remain constant. They'll stay together. They'll get eventually married. I hope other things that will occur. So I hope all that goes well. I do ask the Holy Spirit to guide us and keep us steadfast and in a good way um, without ever turning to evil. I ask the Blessed Virgin Mary to take care of us in difficult times, to give us hope always. And of course, we rely as well to pray for us, our patron saints. My wife's is Saint Suzanne, and mine is Saint Michael. I was named after Saint Michael the Archangel, who is the defender of heaven and sent the evil one and his fallen angels down to hell. So with all that, Lord, we ask in your name and pray. Amen and amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Here we go. Alrighty. So, everyone take care of yourselves. Like I said, tomorrow we've got 2 episodes of Get Smart. We're starting the Get Smart series, and I'm so excited, and I'm glad that all of you uh, asked for it, and we're finally going to get to do it starting tomorrow. Also, please make sure that you do that community poll. Please vote in that because we will go ahead and give you the results on Thursday afternoon before we start doing the A-Team reviews, the 2 episodes we're doing for that. Farragut, which is the next Star Trek fan film, will be covering at 1 p.m. Eastern this coming Saturday. And don't forget, Gorilla's Random Thoughts or Censored Thoughts. He might have a cigar lounge and or watch party tonight, so be watching for that. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Also, our common Walton streams that we do on Friday nights. Make sure you check that out because it's so much fun. Unless we get into copyright strikes again or claims, but who gives the fuck? We just have lots of fun. It's no big deal. And then, of course, don't forget on Saturdays and Sundays at 4:05 Eastern. This is every other weekend. Our favorite silent hostess with the mostest, Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf, does all of her wonderful podcasts and or watch parties. So make sure your guys are all there for that. And hello, Joe. Haribo. Evening. Oh, it's dark for you. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, hello, Joe. Welcome. Yeah, we're just about done, Joe. I just wanted to remind people one more time about everything that's coming up on our show. Oh, I'll rewatch later. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, by the way, Joe Haribo there in the chat does have very cool content. He has a very cool channel too. So if you get a chance, make sure you check out our gentleman there from overseas. He has a pretty good, decent channel. And I have been blessed to have been on 1 or 2 of his uh, live streams. So, yeah, very cool. Also, I do want to mention one other person may not be here, but he's a very cool guy. His name is Apex Comics, and he does a wonderful show about comic books. He draws things. He's created some comic stream for himself online. He's it's called Fembat. He calls it. Very cool character. He's got other things that he works on. We also talk a lot of pop culture. So I was just recently on one of his live streams, and it was so much fun. And if you get a chance, go to Apex Comics. Yes, there it is at Apex Comics. Yeah, thank you. Joe, you're awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I want to mention not just you, Joe, because you were here, but I want to mention Apex because Apex is very cool. Yeah, so please check out his channel as well when you get a chance. Okay, so last but not least, on behalf of God Bless America, God bless Canada, God bless the rest of the world we live in, and of course, we always say peace from MikeySuzeFour. So on behalf of myself, my beautiful wife Suzanne, and our beautiful cats Moon Pie and Deja Vu. Oh, and yes, don't forget this coming. I almost forgot. See, I always come to the very last, and then I'm forget, and I go, oh yeah, that. Okay, so this coming Thursday, we don't know the time yet, but it might be sometime after 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do a very special little live stream, just myself and my wife, but we're going to celebrate our baby. Moon Pie is turning 8 years old. So she's going to be right around the same age as us. Uh, so, yeah. So I might invite, Raquel, SSG, 2211, and Moira Kitty if they're not doing anything. I was going to invite those ladies because they're cat lovers. I also wanted to bring, if uh, Gorilla's not doing anything, he might be doing something Thursday. So if he is, I don't want to interrupt his thing. But if he wants to come by and bring his cat, Jericho, um, or, he has a couple cats, I think. But if he wants to bring them by, we have like a little cat party. Yeah. So, yeah. So if we can do that, that'd be cool. Yeah. So. Oh, very cool. Joe has posted Apex Comics' YouTube channel and the clickable link. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. And again, congratulations on becoming one of our standard moderators to this channel so that you can send these links and so forth into the chat. So cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, so peace from us and take care, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, as we do and begin Get Smart. Dun, 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 dun. Remember that. See you next time. So much fun.